Hello and welcome to the English podcast with Ayesh. Here, we practice English together, slowly, clearly, and step by step. Let's learn and grow your English today.
Sure. We are really glad you're here. Today we're doing something a little different.
Yeah.
Essential English greetings and personal introductions. The reason we pulled this, and because it addresses something that I think keeps most of us up at night.
The introduction.
The introduction. The tell me about yourself moment.
The universal anxiety.
Exactly. It's that blank page problem. You walk into a networking event, or maybe a Zoom call kicks off with a new team, and someone just puts you on the spot. Hey, why don't you introduce yourself?
And suddenly your mind is just static.
Totally blank. You forget your job title, your hobbies. You might even forget your last name. We tend to panic and overcomplicate it. We try to sound impressive, or we list our resume from like 2005 to now.
Which is usually boring, overwhelming, and honestly, ineffective. What struck me, we aren't here to learn the English phrases. We know, you know how to say hello.
Rip.
We're here to see how Aisha moves from, basic biological facts to these deep personal aspirations in under 40 seconds. It's a lesson in essentialism.
So let's get right into the structure, starting with what we'll call the foundation, step 1 and step 2.
Right. Step 1 is the identifier. The text reads, "My name is Ayesha," and immediately in the same breath, "I am a student."
And step 2 follows right behind. I am 20 years old.
It seems incredibly basic.
Yeah.
But look at what's happening structurally. She gives the name, the label, and then immediately pivots to the role. I am a student.
Why is student the choice there? I mean, she could have defined herself by her family or her personality. I'm a happy person, or I'm a daughter, but she chooses student.
Well, it's about setting a frame of reference. Think about the psychology of meeting someone new. Your brain is experiencing a high cognitive load.
Right.
You're scanning them for threats, for compatibility, for social standing. You're asking, where do I file this person in my brain?
Is this a boss? A peer? Is this a threat?
Exactly. By saying, I am a student, Aisha immediately lowers the barrier to entry. She isn't claiming to be an expert. She isn't claiming to be a CEO.
She's defining herself by what she's doing, not just a static title. It signals a mode of acquisition. She's saying, I am here to learn.
It puts the listener in a specific position, too. I mean, if she's the student, the listener is potentially the mentor or the peer. It invites cooperation, not competition.
That's a great point.
If she walked in and said, I am the leading expert on Karachi urban planning, the dynamic shifts instantly to judgment. We challenge experts. We help students. Student is disarming.
And then she drops the age. I am 20 years old. In a professional Western context, we usually dodge this. We hide our age, especially on LinkedIn or resumes.
We do, especially as we get older. We feel like it biases people. But here, vital anchor. Age is context. You can't fully understand the student label without the 20 years old label.
Because a 20-year-old student and a 7-year-old student are two very different narratives.
Precisely. 20 years old signals a specific life stage. It implies potential. It implies she's at the beginning of her trajectory.
Yeah.
It tells the listener, I'm in a transition period.
Right.
It allows us to forgive her for what she doesn't know yet and root for what she might become.
It's interesting how efficient that is. 3 short sentences. Name, role, timeline. And suddenly, as a listener, I have a mental bucket to put Aisha in. I know how to treat her.
That's the goal of the first 10 seconds of any introduction. Reduce the confusion for the listener. Don't make them guess your context.
So she's established the who and the when, now the where. Step 3 is simply, I live in Karachi.
Grounding. This is crucial.
Why is it crucial? I mean, in the digital age, doesn't matter where we are. I work with people I've never met in person. I have no idea if they're in London or Bali.
I think it matters more than ever because of that. Without a location, Ayesh is just a voice on the internet. She's sort of floating in the ether. By saying Karachi, she anchors herself in a physical reality.
It adds texture.
It does. Karachi is a massive, bustling coastal metropolis. Even if you've never been to Pakistan, the name Karachi evokes something, a time zone, a climate, a culture. It makes her three-dimensional. It proves she exists in the real world.
Right. If she just said, I live in an apartment, it tells us nothing. But Karachi implies a rhythm of life.
And it invites connection. This is the hook aspect of introductions. If you say where you are, the other person can say, oh, I've been there, or I've heard it's hot there, or what time is it there?
It gives them something to grab onto. It breaks the ice.
Exactly.
Okay, so we are grounded in Karachi. Now we move to step 4. It's her hobbies. And this list is fascinating to me because it feels very curated.
Let's look at the list. What does she say?
She lists 3 things. Reading books, listening to music, and then the third one, Learning English every day.
The classic triad.
Yeah.
But let's look at the difference between the first two and the last one.
Reading books and listening to music, those are their consumption
Right,
habits.
they are passive. I consume art, I consume stories.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine, it makes her relatable, it shows she has an inner life. But the third one flips the script. Learning English every day.
That's active. That's work.
It's what we might call a meta skill. She is using the introduction to tell you that she is actively working on the very skills she is using to introduce herself.
It breaks the fourth wall.
It does.
It's like she's high-fiving the listener. Hey, bear with me, I'm working on this.
But look deeper. What does it say about her character? She didn't say, I like English. She said, learning English every day.
Discipline.
Consistency. A growth mindset. She isn't just someone who watches Netflix. She is someone who invests in herself. By including this in the hobby section, she frames self-improvement as a form of leisure.
Wow.
That is a high-status signal to send in an introduction.
That's a really good point. She's signaling that she is industrious. She's not lazy. If I were hiring someone and they told me their hobby was learning a difficult skill every single day, that's a massive green flag. It tells me more than I like hiking.
Absolutely. It moves her from being just a student, a title, to being a learner,
Yeah.
a trait. And that distinction is vital.
So we have the foundation and we have the character. Now, step 5, culturally specific, but also universally powerful.
The social context.
She says, I have a small family. I have one brother and one sister.
Now, in a standard American elevator pitch, you almost never hear this. You wouldn't walk into a boardroom and say, hi, I'm Bob. I have a brother named Steve.
You'd get some weird looks. They'd be like, Bob, we need the Q3 projections, not your family tree.
Right. But think about what it achieves here. We've established she is a student, she is disciplined, she lives in a big city. But is she a lone wolf? Is she isolated?
No, she's connected.
I have a small family. Note the adjective small. She could have just said, I have siblings.
Small family feels subjective. To some, 3 kids is a lot. To others, it's tiny.
But small family implies intimacy. It implies a tight-knit unit. It tells us that she values close relationships. It shifts the identity from individual achiever to member of a tribe.
It humanizes her.
Completely. It makes her safe. In evolutionary psychology, someone with strong family ties, someone who identifies by those ties, is often perceived as more trustworthy. She isn't just a worker bee. She is a sister. She has
Yeah.
people who care about her.
It rounds out the picture. We aren't just hiring a brain, we are meeting a person. I think we often scrub this part out of our professional intros because we think it's unprofessional, but actually it's the part that makes us memorable.
It creates empathy. And notice the specificity again, one brother, one sister. It's a precise picture. It forces you to visualize the dinner table. It makes Aisha real in your mind.
So let's recap where we are in this 40-second journey. We know her name, her role, student, her age, 20, her city, Karachi, her habits, discipline learning, and her tribe, small family.
Most people stop here. They give the facts and they stop. Here's my resume. Please hire me.
But Aisha doesn't stop. Step 6.
The pivot.
Up until this point, every sentence has been a statement of current reality. I am, I live, I have. Facts. Step 6 changes the verb, I want.
This is the shift from the ontological self, who I am, to the teleological self, who I am becoming.
Purpose.
Yes.
Purpose.
She says 2 things here. I want to speak English confidently, and I use you travel. Travel with it one day. This is the emotional core. If you delete step 6, Aisha's just a demographic statistic. With step 6, she becomes a protagonist in a story.
Let's break down that first want. I want to speak English confidently. Note that she didn't say perfectly.
Huge distinction. Perfectly is about technical accuracy. It's about passing a test. Confidently is about a feeling. It's about presence.
It's vulnerable, isn't it? Admitting you want confidence implies you don't fully have it yet.
Yes, and vulnerability generates trust. By admitting her goal is confidence, she is acknowledging the very anxiety we talked about at the start of the show.
Right.
She is saying, I am trying to find my voice. That is universally relatable. Whether you're learning English or learning to code or learning to manage a team, we all want to do it confidently. We all want to stop feeling like imposters.
And then the second one, the big one. I want to travel the world one day.
And this connects all the previous dots.
How so?
Well, ask yourself, why is she a student? Why is she learning English every single day? Why is she putting herself through this effort?
Because she wants to travel.
Exactly. The English language is the vehicle. Traveling the world is the destination. Suddenly, Her hobby isn't just a hobby, it's a strategy. She has a vision for her life that is bigger than her current reality in Karachi.
It shows ambition. It shows openness to experience, which I know is one of the big 5 personality traits.
It does. A desire to travel signals curiosity. It signals that she wants to understand cultures other than her own. So now, the listener doesn't just see a girl from Karachi. They see a potential global citizen.
And think about how much easier it is to talk to her now. If I'm the listener, I can immediately ask, where do you want to go first? Or why do you want to travel?
You've given the listener a hook into your future. That is so much more powerful than a hook into your past.
Invite people into your future. I love that concept. Most of our resumes are just lists of things we've already done. We rarely put things I desperately want to do on a resume.
And yet that's what people hire for. They hire for trajectory. They hire for hunger. Aisha's displaying hunger here.
So step 7 in the synthesis. It just puts it all together into a block of text.
And there's the learner to repeat slowly.
Hello, my name is Aisha. I am a student. I am 20 years old. I live in Karachi. I have a small family. I want to travel the world.
When you hear it flow like that, it's a narrative arc. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Roots, reality, relationships, dreams.
And the methodology emphasizes repeat after me, practice every day. What's the takeaway there for people who already speak the language?
It's the idea that identity is a rehearsal. We often think that being authentic means making it up on the spot. We think if we rehearse our intro, we'll sound robotic.
But actually, the opposite happens.
Right. When you have your script internalized, when you've done the spaced repetition, you don't have to think about the words. You can focus on the connection. You can focus on eye contact. You can smile.
Because your RAM isn't full of, what do I say next?
Exactly. Structure creates freedom. Aisha sounds confident not because she's magical, but because she has practiced these 7 steps until they're part of her biology.
There's one final layer to this nearly missed. It's the sign-off at the very end of the text.
The meta twist.
Thank you for listening to the English podcast with Ayesh.
Right. Aisha isn't just the fictional example in the lesson. She's the host of the lesson.
It's a loop.
She's the student learning, but she's also the teacher sharing the method. It reinforces that ownership we talked about.
Yeah.
She isn't waiting to be perfect before she starts creating. She's podcasting while she's learning.
That is the ultimate growth mindset. I am learning English, and I am going to teach you how I'm doing it.
It validates her claim that she wants to speak confidently. She's demonstrating it by hosting the show.
So we've pulled apart this simple text. We've seen how name, role, age, location, hobbies, family, and dreams stack up to create a person. But how do we apply this? If I'm a mid-level manager in Chicago, I'm not going to introduce myself like, Aisha, am I?
You might not use the exact phrasing, but you should absolutely use the architecture.
Walk me through that.
Okay, strip away the jargon. Most professionals introduce themselves with titles. Hi, I'm the VP of Strategic Implementation at TechCorp.
Which means nothing to anyone outside of TechCorp.
Exactly. It's noise. It doesn't invite connection. It invites a hierarchy check.
Oh.
Try Aisha's method.
Okay.
Step 1 and 2. Who are you and what is your mode? I'm a problem solver. I'm a builder. I'm a team leader. Step 3. Where are you grounded? I'm based in Chicago, but I live on Zoom.
I like that.
Step 4. What are you active in? Not just, I like golf, but I'm currently obsessed with learning how AI impacts logistics. Show us what you're learning right now. Step 5. Who are your people? I run a tight team of 4, or I'm a dad to 2 teenagers. And step 6. The pivot. What do you want? I want to figure out how to make this supply chain sustainable.
That is infinitely more interesting than the VP title.
Because it's human. It covers the roots, the reality, and the dream.
The dream part is the scary part.
It is. I want is a vulnerable sentence start. But it's the only one that matters. If you don't tell people what you want, they can't help you get there.
That's the key. If Aisha never said, I want to travel, nobody would ever send her a travel guide. Nobody would ever invite her on a trip.
By stating the intention, she activates the network around her.
It's really a lesson in essentialism. We clutter our intros with so much garbage because we're insecure. We think we need to prove our worth with accolades.
But Aisha proves her worth with clarity. She is worth knowing because she knows who she is and where she is going.
Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication.
As the saying goes.
So here is the challenge for you listening to this. You probably introduced yourself 1,000 times. You probably have a script you recite on autopilot.
And it's probably boring.
Honestly, it probably is. So later today, maybe when you're driving or in the shower or walking the dog, Try to build your own 7-step Aisha introduction.
Don't use your job title. Don't use your resume.
Start with your name. Define your role as a learner or a doer. Anchor yourself in a place. Tell us what you're actively practicing. Mention who you're connected to. And then, the big finish.
What do you want?
Not what do you want for dinner, what do you want for your life? I want to build a school. I want to run a marathon. I want to write a book.
If you walked into a room of strangers today
Yeah.
and you introduced yourself not by your past achievements, but by that one thing you want most in the world, imagine how that conversation would go.
It would certainly be different.
It would be real,
Yeah.
and it might just change the way people see you.
And more importantly, it might change the way you see yourself.
Indeed.
A huge thank you to Aisha for this masterclass in simplicity, and thanks to you for diving deep with us. We'll see you next time.